Behind every brand, every movement, every leader, every transformation, there's a story. And intertwined in these stories is a message. And this podcast is for you, the next gen leader, coach, entrepreneur, and influencer. My name is Travis Brady, and I'm a branding mentor and sales story strategist. I hope you see me more of a guide than a host as I share the stories behind the brands, so you can take these stories, experiences, principles, and teachings and use them to share your story with the world. It's the story behind the brand, and we got Joe Lopez with us. I had him at Brand X. His native name goes by Standing Bear, which I want to get to here in just a second. But he's the creator of RUF Nation, Ringside United Fighting Federation or organization, Arizona's top MMA organization here in Arizona. He's had that since 2002. He's a speaker, entrepreneur, executive leadership consultant, and performance psychotherapist. What's up, brother? Good to have you on
Hey,
here
what's
today.
up, Travis? How you doing, brother?
And not to brag, but I'm a champion now since I had this guy come over, gave me this belt, which is so funny because I gave one of my really good friends, Dom, almost the exact type of belt like this. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that, but Dom's
Yeah,
a
it was
machine,
like
man.
3 weeks
Dom's
ago. It
a
was like so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. That the karma is coming back around really fast.
That's
So
crazy because I told your
yeah.
wife like last minute. She was like, "What?" It's like, yeah, it's a surprise.
Yeah, I was laughing about that when I first saw it. I was like, that is so funny.
But
So anyways, fill in the gaps, brother.
yeah, so it all starts with my name, right? Standing Bear. I have my so I'm Native American and Mexican, and a lot of my traditions come from both cultures. But the Native American side of me has a stronger cultural presence where we actually have ceremonies, right, that we still do to this day. Even though we don't live tradition like traditional people, traditions are part of our core and strength.
Hmm.
And one of the things I learned from my tribal elders is that you must know who you are first before you set out to become what you want to be.
Mm, so
And
deep.
that solidified everything. So I've always been a fighter. I'm a two-time wrestling champion in Arizona, and I always loved to scrap.
Mhm.
I solved a lot of things on the, in the streets of Nogales, Arizona, where
Yeah.
you had to jump from neighborhood to neighborhood, and you had to throw some chingazos, right? And that's how you earned your stripes back then,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the 70s, right? And there was no other way around it. And so having two older brothers that, you know, thank God they kicked my ass every day, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't make it through these neighborhoods. So I had to pass them, two older
Yeah.
brothers that were really, and still to this day, really good fighters,
Mm.
feared by most. And so if I had to pass them, I could probably pass any neighborhood in my area. And so growing up that way, and then my dad putting a makeshift boxing ring in the yard, gathering all the kids, and we just threw down on weekends, man, with whatever gloves we could find. Sometimes it was no gloves; it was actually
Wow.
socks. Yeah, we
Wow.
yeah, we had socks. Those big socks that the tube socks.
That's epic.
Yeah, no, man, we had to put cotton from the pillows, and that's how we threw down, man. And
That is epic. Shit like that would never go down these days.
oh God, I told my dad we'd probably be arrested for the shit we did.
Yeah, right, right.
So going back to all of that, going through, wrestling was easy because like I said, I had to fight through my brother. So winning two gold medals here in Arizona was kind of set and sparked the vision for my future.
Hmm.
And the good thing about wrestling, unlike any other sport like MMA or boxing, is that you have opportunities to go to college, right? If you really do well.
Hmm.
And as a result, I got introduced to the university, Arizona State University Sun Devils, where I was very fortunate to wrestle under the legend coach Bobby Douglas, the legend of legends of wrestling, and I was there for a few years to learn the craft, so to speak, from the legend Bobby Douglas. And so I took that furthered my education. I was never really good in school, to be honest with you. I didn't even like school. I still don't like school.
Yeah.
But being that competitive person that I am, I failed. I was looking at my transcript, as a matter of fact, yesterday in my community college. I failed 14 classes.
Wow, that is crazy.
Failed 14 classes. And I'm
They
like,
still let you have your scholarship after that?
well, no, they didn't.
Oh, they didn't. Okay.
So the moral of the story is I failed. They kicked me out of school.
Mm,
Then, I got into some trouble, and then I ended up going back to school to Kansas at Colby Community College, and it was a very humbling experience going from Division I to community college, where
I
I
bet.
thought people were laughing at me like, "Oh, he's a failure," and I'm like, "No, man, I'm just starting over." As a matter of fact, I've learned from the best, so I'm going to kick everyone's ass at the community college in the small pond. It was my philosophy, right?
Yeah. So you wrestled it there as well?
Yeah, I wrestled at Colby Community College, where Daniel Cormier, the analyst for UFC, actually went to school with too as well.
Really?
But he's a lot younger than me. But coached by the same coach, Coach Lampy, out of Colby Community College. Cheers
Yeah,
to Colby College.
that's awesome.
But I love Kansas, man. People were great out there. Very, very different than California and Arizona, where I grew up.
Hmm.
Quite different ecosystem, so to speak. And it was really nice and really cool to meet really good folks out in Kansas, and
Yeah,
took a lot from the Midwest, actually.
that's awesome. So coming back to Standing Bear, what does that represent, and what was that process that you went through to get that?
Yeah, so typically in my tribe, you're supposed to have a clay ceremony when you're young, I think 1 or 2 years old.
Hmm.
Typically, a real medicine man will come to your house or wherever and will give you a spoonful of clay, which is dirt from your ground. And
Hmm.
what that's supposed to do is supposed to strengthen your immune system and to connect you
Hmm.
to Mother Earth with all the nutrients, because a lot of people don't understand that dirt is not dirty. Uh,
Yeah.
Dirt is everything that we have inside our organism. And
Hmm.
so they typically do that with the kids. It tastes muddy, but a lot of kids like it. I never had one. So as an adult, I requested one, and he said, "Well, have you ever had one?" I said, "No." Okay, then you're due for one. And so in my adult years, he came over, and I'll tell you a story. The night before, I was stressed out because I was worried that my spiritual name that would come to him would be something like Leaping Frog, or, I don't know, Chop Cricket, or some name that just does not resonate with me. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
like, God,
Yeah.
please don't, please. I mean, whatever. I'm praying about it, but I can't dictate, I can't control what happens to him and
Yeah, that's funny.
creator. So I sat down, and he prayed over me, and he saw some things, and he said, "Stand up." And in our native language, he said, "Shuri Judum." And I said, "What is that?" "Stand up, Standing Bear." He goes, "That's your name, God given you." I said, "Why?" No, I didn't say why. He told me why. I looked at him, and I said, and I nodded like, hell yeah, right?
Yeah, that's a
Like,
badass name.
he's like, and the medicine man doesn't know me, right? He doesn't know who I
Mhm.
am or what I stand for and all that. He just said, "You have a gentle presence, and you take care of your family, but when provoked, you will stand up for them, and you will growl loud."
Mm,
That's exactly who I am. Like, I'm cool with everybody, man. And I protect my family. My family is number one. My kids, I'll do anything, for my kids and my family. And I'm a family man. That's
yeah,
that's what I am.
yeah. So how old were you when you went through that?
Oh shoot, I was like old. Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, I was already.
So what did that moment do for you in your life? Yeah, tell me about because it really is, some people get lost in doing, and it's because they don't know who they're trying to be. The being becomes through the doing. And when people really find themselves and really awaken to that, man, stuff aligns really fast.
I'll tell you what it did. It gave me the courage to be me
Hmm.
with no insecurities whatsoever, minimal fear. It reduced my fear. It reduced any confusion I had about, you know, having two cultures in the American way. It doesn't matter as long as you know what your roots are and what you stand for. You live by what you are, and
Mhm.
so understanding that just gave me and solidified my confidence as to like being whatever I am in any
Mhm.
environment because my roots and my foundation is strong. Yeah, I can become anything I want. I can become a scientist. I can become a MMA promoter. I can become whatever. That's what I become, and that's what I set out to do. But
Mhm.
who I am is more important than what I become. And that is, I come from the Tohono O'odham Nation, the Chukukuk district, from the Kokoloti clan, which is the way of the owl, the dialect of the owl. And that itself tells me a lot, which means I live in the heart. My ancestors lived the harshest desert in Arizona.
Mhm.
They never had it easy. Imagine, okay, just imagine being in the hottest area, desolate area in Arizona, down south, okay, having to wake up and looking at your family and say, I got to go hunt. You know, there's no buffalo where we live, right? There's no really bucks like that, right? You got to go hunt fucking jackrabbits, right?
Yeah.
You got to hunt jackrabbit. You got to hunt javelina. Those animals are not easy to get.
Yeah.
And if you didn't catch them, you ain't gonna eat today.
Yeah.
Scarce water, where are you gonna find water in the desert? But my ancestors endured all of that. And so when they told me that, they looked at me and said, has your life been hard? I said, yeah. Why? Because it's meant to be hard. And right there, the confusion of why my life is this way went away. Why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to do things twice? Why do I have to work twice as hard as anybody to get to where I'm at? That's why. So,
That's cool. I love that, man. I love that.
mhm, yeah.
I think so many people define who they are by their title. I'm a mom, I'm an athlete, I'm a construction worker, I'm a blue collar wood. That's just how you express who you are. Who you are is, who you are. So I love all that,
Well,
that
that's what you become. So my
Mhm.
elder asked me one time before I knew all of this. He said, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a MMA promoter. I'm a therapist." No, 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 no. That's what you become. That's what you became.
Mhm.
Who are you? And I'm like, "What do you mean? Who am I? I'm Joe Lopez." Yeah, who's Joe Lopez? I'm like, "Okay, you got me. I have no idea." Then
Yeah.
exactly, this is who you are. You come from this, and the clan. Do you know your clan? I go, no. This is what they endured. And once I knew that, there was this fulfillment in my heart and my spirit where I said, I can't be broken anymore. No
Yeah.
matter where I go, what I do, what I set out to become, I'm still that from them.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's awesome. Yeah, when you really think about, how much of history, how to survive, it really puts in perspective all your problems, and which is crazy. We deal with all this depression and suicide, and it's like we have too much comfort sometimes is not good for the man. The man should always be striving to be better, to be warriors, to be fighters. Me and my kids, our one of our favorite things to do is wrestle, and I'll move the couch over, we'll push so we have lots of room, and
Oh, yeah.
it's them two versus me, and the older one, Max, which is Flory's son, and younger one, Tatum. And I tell Tatum, get him. I was like, why are you going easy on him? Get him, Max. And I was like, Max, don't take it easy on him. Like, I really want him to like
Right.
go
Right.
at it, because I realize how important that is for a man to, do those types of things. There was this MMA fighter that said years ago, when it ultimately comes down to it, the ego says, it doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter this and that about your girlfriend. It matters, can I kick your ass or not? And I can say that to 99.99% people on earth. And I was like, that's pretty true. You got us in all that. The flex is, can I kick your ass? That's like the ultimate, flex there
Pretty
is in
much, right?
life, in my opinion. I mean, I don't come from what you're doing, but you got into this 2002 is what you said. Tell us about the origin of RUF Nation and where it was and where it's at today.
Yeah, so funny story, man, on that. So a lot of people don't know this, but a good friend of mine named Raul Ramirez, I went to high school with him. He was a marketing director for Colgate Palmolive at the time, a billion-dollar company out of LA. He was stationed in Irvine, and here I am in Phoenix, just just a brother like us, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he would invite me to all these gigs, like Oscar De La Hoya. I met Manny Pacquiao in one of his first fights. I mean, I met celebrities. And the reason why I was meeting them is because he was a sponsor for these events. And so he would get VIP'd, he would get front row. And I'm just, a bystander going along with the ride, right?
Nice.
And so when I went to Fernando Vargas, the boxer, when I went to his fight, his comeback fight after he got knocked down from Oscar De La Hoya, he started coming back, and he had this like tune-up fight at the LA LA Olympic Auditorium, and I went and I sat there, and instead of watching the fights, I was looking at the promoter, and I was looking at the behind the scenes. I was looking at the lights. I was looking at the crowd. I was looking at the poster, and I fell in love with
Mhm.
like the behind the scenes. I don't
Yeah.
even know who fought. I remember Manny Pacquiao being introduced. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be like the future world champ. He was really small. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, whatever. But I'm looking at everything, the entry, the music, and I'm like, and I looked at my friend. I said, that's what I want to do. I go, well, you want to
Yeah.
box? I go, no, 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 no. I want to be a promoter. And so I kind of put a bug in his ear, right? So then right after that fight, maybe 6 months later, Fernando Vargas announces that he's going to fight in Tucson, Arizona at Casino del Sol. And so they asked my buddy to sponsor it since he's originally from Arizona. And so he said, yeah, one condition. You allow Joel to be an assistant promoter to the big promoter main events out of Chicago, wherever they're from, Michigan. And so they said, yeah, yeah, whatever, right? So I went there, bro, and I showed out, man. I was there every day, every night, all night, pumping, hitting the streets, guerrilla, passing out flyers, making posters, meeting whoever, going to strip clubs all night and promoting it there and getting ring girls I didn't even know what I was doing, but I was so bro. It was
Yeah.
like, this is passion. Like
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping forever till I get this done. Well,
Mm-hmm.
lo and behold, we had a home run. We had about 6,200 people, sold out event. And my buddy's like, I guess you're good at this. I said, I don't know if I'm good, but I fucking love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's do another one.
Yeah.
So he sponsored a few more boxing shows here in Phoenix, and we blew them out of the water, man. We blew them out of the water, and that ignited everything. So
Nice.
yeah, so my cousin Adrian, I would invite him to the shows,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew that I needed help. He saw me putting chairs up, fixing this, doing the matchmaking, doing this, and he was like, he would just get up and help. And I'm like, no, you're here to enjoy the fight, cousin. He goes, no, you need help, cousin. You need help. So every show he would fly down on his own dime just to support me and end up helping me. Be honest
I
with
love
you.
that. I love that.
And so one day we're in Scottsdale, Cinco de Mayo at Salty Senorita, and we're getting our drink on. And I'm like, I got a vision. What? Why don't we start our own little company, me and you, and you do the operations and all that, and I'll do the rest,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll become partners. And we drank, we toasted, go, let's go. And that was
Nice.
it. That's how we started.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Tell us what's happened since then. You're Arizona's #1 MMA organization in a state that's really, I think, really going to be one of the top states, if not already, in the country. I love Phoenix. I think it's such an attractive spot for so many reasons. So, yeah, tell us about what you got going on today and everything else with this.
Yeah, so we were lucky enough to attract a lot of good talent from Arizona State. Again, my connections, Arizona State, being a former alumni, knowing the coaches there, they would say, hey, this guy's graduating. And a guy named Cain Velasquez, who was a brute. Have you heard of Cain Velasquez?
I haven't.
Everybody's heard of Cain Velasquez, U.S. World Heavyweight Champion, beat Brock Lesnar. Just a machine, right? And so he was the UFC's best until this day, probably the best heavyweight that ever came out of the UFC. Well, he got to start with us here, and it was really amazing because we got like Ryan Bader, CB Dollaway to start with me. And honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about MMA besides wrestling. But how hard can MMA be if I promoted boxing? So I used the sweet science of boxing and
Mm-hmm.
just transferred that knowledge into MMA. And so it was very organically very seamless for me. And so we started doing that, and then we got a contract with Blue Water Resort Casino in Parker, where we were doing multiple shows at the casino. And that's where we really learned about how to really do events. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, a lot of failures. There was so much, very stressful, like, what it means,
Absolutely.
that last minute shit that happens with
Yeah.
this and that, people falling off. But we figured it out. Me and my cousin Adrian figured it out. And so we solidified that. And we did quite a few events there. And then we got another contract with Twin Arrows Casino. So we just started hitting the casinos from here on. We didn't have a home yet. We were just native casinos and bringing people there, and it was a win-win.
Sure.
And we really enjoyed it. But traveling was really hard. So fast forward, COVID hits, right? Shit. Now do we do? All the casinos are shut down.
Yeah.
And so my motto was, don't ever give up, figure it out. So we created the first COVID protocol in the United States. The day we shut down, the next day I was typing, I was writing. We were writing, and we created one, we submitted it, and we did the second MMA show in the country besides the UFC. UFC had to go all the way to Abu Dhabi to do theirs. We
Wow.
did it here at the Glendale Civic Center with no audience.
Wow.
It was
That's
really cool.
That's awesome.
It was all live streamed.
Yeah, I had to jump through the similar things myself with COVID. We were doing these events. They were putting the chairs 6 feet apart. I started the event. I go and I sit at the edge of the center. I was like, listen, if you're not comfortable being here, I will comp you 2 free tickets. Um, no questions asked, won't argue. Want to make sure you're getting taken. But if you're going to be in this room right now, we're going to be connecting, we're going to be touching, and at the end of it, we're going to be giving each other hugs, as crazy as that might sound. And then everyone took their chairs and brought it together. It was like one of the most, it was one of the coolest events I've ran over the years, because to watch it go from this complete separation to this create unity to the really, really deep connection after the event. And it really was. Everyone was giving hugs, and it was just crazy what that event did. And so I remember we had to do one event at our house. We could only invite 10 people in the house at the time. So yeah, we had to jump. With doing your events all the years, I've done events, not like you've done. They're kind of two different things, but what's some of the biggest things you've learned about promoting an event and getting people to an event? A lot of people listening right now, they're leaders, they're speakers, they do gatherings of their community. What's the biggest thing that you've learned through doing these fights?
It's a big learning curve. Well, one thing I learned is that the number one most stressful job in the world is promoting events. So
I can
it
see
goes
that.
back to, okay,
I
so
can see that for
it
sure.
goes back to, again, who I am. I'm supposed to do this. My
Yeah.
ancestors, again, endured the harshest weather. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to endure the harshest career. So I'm okay with that. Most people would run from events, and you know how stressful it is. So I embrace it. It's really hard. And so I've learned a lot. I mean, I learned that, from production to marketing to finances, I think one of the things that I could take away from everything is that, in MMA specifically, is that, don't overspend on talent that's not going to perform. For instance, we were trying this like guest appearance, bring in a popular person, that's high accolades and very famous worldwide,
Mhm.
and like 10 people came to buy tickets to see him. People don't want to just see them; people want to see them fight.
Yeah.
And so, unless they're performing, nobody cares about guest appearances. And just aligning yourself with the right people with the right mindset really helped me out a lot. There's a lot of frauds out there, a lot of fugazis that pretend to be promoters that want to just put a poster and say, see what sticks. There's a lot behind everything. You gotta, have an objective mission. You gotta have a pro forma. You gotta have objectives, right? You gotta have all kinds of things in place, and the proper people too to help you. And I learned along the lines that you can't do this by yourself, and I don't want to do this by myself anymore.
Mhm.
Which leads to my second editions, my second and third, my third and fourth edition. I had a guy named CJ Pittman. he was a pawn store owner in Maricopa. We were doing a show out there at that casino, and I walked in and I was like, "Hey, you want to sponsor?" And he goes, yeah, "Hell yeah, you know." And the guy just showed up, man. He just showed up and started helping with the cage, and just I didn't even ask him, man. And then we did a show at the Twin Earls, and he just shows up out of nowhere and like starts helping and doing it. And he was very crafty with tools because he had every tool, right? Because he has a pawn shop, right? So he had every freaking tool available. So he really showed his value. And after a while, I said, "Hey, you want to work with us?" He goes, "Yeah, I thought you never asked." You know, I was like, "How come you didn't ask?" He goes, "I wanted to show my value first." It's like,
Nice.
I love it. Most people come and ask. He didn't ask. He showed his value to where I asked him, "I need you."
Yeah, if you're listening right now, there's a huge lesson in that, and not just forming partnerships, but getting clients through the process. So many people stick their hands out first before like really showcasing what they can really do for you. So I love that.
Yeah. And then the fourth one, a guy named Jason Martinez, who is our matchmaker now. I was the matchmaker before. I was everything, right? He calls me out of the blue, and he happens to be a department chair counselor at Estrella Mountain Community College, and he's just like, "I want to do this. Can I like?" And I'm like, I, there was something that made me not hang up on him. I'm like, "Okay, I'll tell you what. Come and shadow me and see if this is what you really want. This is really hard, man."
Yeah.
And he came, and I thought I'd never hear from him again. He goes, "I love it." I said,
Okay.
only a crazy therapist would know want to work with freaking crazy fighters, because you're
Absolutely.
babysitting them, man, practically, right? They're a lot of fighters are, they're quirky, man. They got demands. They, you know,
I could absolutely see that. I could absolutely see that for sure. They talk about that with athletes that, they're just grown up kids. They've literally been in sports their entire life. They haven't really had to do anything else besides that, in most cases.
oh, dude,
Um,
I had to get in fights sometime. I asked my cousin; he would tell you, like, you need to stop being a matchmaker because you're too passionate. And when these fighters commit and you hold them to their word and then they fall out for bullshit reasons, it's like you don't know how to handle it. And I go, no, I fucking call them and I'm calling them names. I'm like, "I'll fuck you up right now. I'll go over there." I was like, "Dude, you can't do this." I know, but fuck them. It's like you're too much of a fighter. You need somebody to be opposite. I said, "I'll fuck him up. I swear to God." Like, you gave me your fucking word. You gave me your word as a man that you were going to fight that weekend. And then a day before, you come up with some beat. Like, there's legitimate
Yeah, no, I've
reason.
dealt with that too. That's yeah, just this last event too. It was just like, yeah.
Your word has to mean iron to me because when
Hmm.
I speak, it's iron. There's iron
Yeah.
in what I say. And if I can't do it, I will tell you why. And it has to be a good reason why. If it's a
Hmm.
bullshit reason, I'll even tell you it's a bullshit reason. But
Yeah.
your word as a man has to be iron with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remove myself from the
I think
match.
that's a general rule in, yeah, that's a good general rule in general in business and life. And I'm really focusing at the highest level. If I say I'm going to give you a call, I'm going to call you back. If I say I'm going to give you a text, like start focusing on the smallest things in regards of that, and really holding myself accountable to, like, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to absolutely do that.
Absolutely. It matters, right?
Mhm.
And if you want respect, you want to be, a person of integrity and people believe in your brand, you have to have that too. And
Yeah.
that's my opinion, right? You
Yeah.
stand for your brand and your brand is you, like you always say, and it's very true. I concur with everything you say on that because it is. If you don't have integrity and you're a shyster and you're stealing and you're doing shady things. Well, that represents your company too. And so,
Mhm.
trust me, in events, there's tons of those guys. I say guys because there's a majority of guys, but there's female promoters too. But I've ran into quite a bit of people, and even people call me all the time, like, "I want to partner up with you." I'm like, "I don't know you, man. You have to show me that I can trust you." It's
Yeah.
like I'm not going to give you 20 years worth of knowledge and wisdom where I had to earn it the hard way, and you're just
Yeah.
going to come and call me like you want something. Come and show me you're worthy, and
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
they don't
Yeah.
show up.
So tell us what fights you got coming up. We're gonna Arizona Brotherhoods sponsoring one of them November 1st. I believe you want to talk to us about that fight and whatever fights you have coming up for the next year that you're excited about.
Absolutely, man. So we got a stellar fight card coming up next Saturday on Dia de los Muertos. November 1st event at the Celebrity Theater. We've got about 15, 16 fights right now. We'll probably end up with 10 or 12. Things happen,
Sure.
and from weight issues to, again, things that we talked about, bullshit excuses and whatnot. But lately, fighters have been very responsible now because they're held accountable because they're licensed, right? They got to pass rigorous tests to get to this point. So it makes it harder for them to fall out for, frivolous reasons. And then, of course, we don't work with individuals anymore. We work with coaches that have to vouch for them to say they're ready.
Okay.
So it's gotten better, a lot better in the last 10 years or so. So we got a great fight card. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have mariachis, the whole theme, man. It's going to be electric, brother. And we got Ezra Elliott out of Sean O'Malley's gym here in Glendale with Tim Welch's Red Hawk MMA team. He's a stud, bro. He's a stud, and he's gonna probably, if he wins, he'll probably start climbing to the top ranks where he would be looked at, and if not already, I think he's already looked at by the UFC. Nice. But he's got a tough opponent, man. DeAndre Tipton out of Rufus Sport, whose coach just died 2-3 days ago. Wow. Duke Rufus, a legend in MMA, just passed away. And
yeah, nothing gets you fighting a little harder when shit like that happens.
That's what I said. Okay, there's going to be an extra layer of motivation there for him to want to, go in there. So it's going to be fire, right? Yeah. Then we just got this guy named Chapo out of Tucson, who's a stud. We call him Chapo, not El Chapo, for reasons.
Sure.
Chris Chapo Quiroz out of Dominant MMA. He's a stud, bro, and he's fighting another stud named Alec Bailey out of UKF gym, Ultimate Combat Fitness, here with Javier Torres' gym. We got a big fight card from the 7 pros and 8 amateurs, title fights, you name it. It's going to be electric, brother.
Nice, man. That's awesome. I'm excited. How do people get tickets? Where do people go?
Yeah, they can go to www.celebritytheater.com. Pick your seat, and every seat in the house is a great seat. It's circular. It's an octagon. It's an amazing venue for fights. No one ever complains about the view because it's 360.
Nice.
So just go there, or you want to go for more information, go to rufnation.com, and you could see our live stream. You could also even bet on our fights. It'll be live streamed as well, worldwide if you can't make it in person. And so there's that option too.
Cool. All right. Thanks for joining us today, Joel. Super excited to be checking out the fights and see what we got going on there. Excited to have you a part of Brand X as well. That event was awesome. If you guys feel like someone can benefit from this podcast, please share it. As always, you have a story, get it out to the world. Okay. And we'll talk soon. Good talk.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. See you soon.
Hey, you have a story to share with the world, which means you need to get on more live stages. We have a jam-packed schedule in 2024 full of events, including our biggest event year to date, Brand X. Go to benextgen.com/speak. Again, benextgen.com/speak. Or you could just click the link in the description. Fill out an application. Our team will reach out to you and show you how our speaker partnership works. Get on a stage, get video, blow up your brand, blow up your business. Let's go.